just yesterday. Muhammad to cease to be Judah. My late
The British Prime Minister at the time openly said that if Ghana didn't adopt homosexuality, British aid was no longer going to come the way of Ghana. And President Mills, with the mandate of the Republic, and I remember as head of communications, when he called me and said, Koku, organize the press for me. I want to address this issue. So in his office, sitting on the seat of authority, and made it emphatically clear that as President of the Republic of Ghana, there was no way he was going to succumb to any oppressive pressure to allow that issue to have its leeway in the Republic of Ghana.
I, as President of this nation, will never initiate or support any attempts to legalize homosexuality in Ghana.
There's this attempt to hide behind Parliament, and that until Parliament passes some law, those we have entrusted with ultimate leadership cannot just make emphatic statements and allow this matter to rest. Are we really saying that we are unaware that suddenly some people are gradually and consciously turning Ghana into Sodom and Gomorrah? This dangerous nonsense must stop now. So as a nation, are we really being honest to ourselves and admitting that we are unaware of a certain phenomenon that is gradually creeping and gaining roots in this country? Are we really saying that we are unaware that suddenly some people are gradually and consciously turning Ghana into Sodom and Gomorrah via the importation of this open practice of homosexuality? Are we saying we're not aware of it? What are we doing via the covenant words of our national anthem, which tells us to resist oppressor's rule with all our will and might forevermore? Not to resist it sometimes. Why are we doing this? And pretending that this monster has suddenly not eaten up our moral fabric as a nation. And we are pretending that it doesn't exist. Truth of the matter is, if some people are refusing to talk as they did in the past, why? My Bible tells me that God will raise up new voices to speak in this nation. Welcome to episode 11 of the Mindset Transformation Conversation, the presence of God in nation building, under the auspices of the Coalition of Nation Builders and the Mills Institute. Mindset, Integrity, Loyalty, Leadership and Service Institute. Today's episode, in all honesty, I say emphatically, without any equivocation, that this dangerous mindset, this dangerous nonsense must stop now. I repeat, this dangerous mindset must stop now. For the third time, I state emphatically, as a Ghanaian nation builder, that this dangerous nonsense must stop now. Now, what are we discussing? Since independence, this whole phenomenon of wanting to set homosexuality on top of the moral thinking, moral fiber, and the moral appreciation of this republic. If my memory serves me right, and it does serve me right, it began to rear its head towards the tail end of President Kufuor's tenure. So give and take 2008 thereabouts. But hey, it didn't have legs to stand on, so it died. Under President Mills, it came up roaring at us. And how did it come up? Because David Cameron, the British Prime Minister at the time, openly said that if Ghana didn't adopt homosexuality, British aid was no longer going to come the way of Ghana. And President Mills, with the mandate of the Republic, and I remember as head of communications, when he called me and said, Koku, organize the press for me. I want to address this issue. So in his office, sitting on the seat of authority, when he granted an interview and made it emphatically clear that as President of the Republic of Ghana, there was no way he was going to succumb to any oppressive pressure to allow that issue to have its leeway in the Republic of Ghana. Now, just listen to the interview. I'm sure many of you will remember that interview, but I play it back for emphasis. So why is it that after the demise of President Mills, suddenly there's this attempt to hide behind Parliament, and that until Parliament passes some law, those we have entrusted with ultimate leadership cannot just make emphatic statements and allow this matter to rest? Yeah. If President Mills did it, why is it that subsequent presidents are pretending that they don't have the same executive authority? The same executive fiat issued by President Mills is still available per the 1992 Constitution. So why this dithering and pretense, and that until Parliament passes some law that must be signed, we cannot just put this matter to rest by the power and the authority vested in those who hold ultimate power? Why the deception? Now, I'm discussing this issue with so much upbeat passion because of this document that I'm projecting on the screen. This is a Ministry of Education document. Physical Education and Health Elective for Senior High Schools. Teacher Manual for Year 2 students. Now, this has been approved by the National Council for Curriculum and Assessment, NACA, National Council for Curriculum and Assessment of the Ministry of Education, NACA. Here it is. Now, the grand deception is, since when did we start putting health elective and physical education together? So you see the grand deception? So they put it here. We are seeing one of Ghana's really quartet teen year. And so the whole thing is a grand deception. If it's biology you want to teach, go ahead and teach biology. Well, we all did biology. We all did reproductive health. But since when did you start combining that with physical education? PE. So this is where the grand deception begins, on the cover page of this document. And it's a teacher's manual. And when the issue came up sometime last year, I recall the head of NACA coming out to say he had no idea. When pushed further, we were told as a nation that this document has been withdrawn. Now, my checks tell me that no official communication went round to officially withdraw this from circulation. And teachers, because we are talking about mindset transformation for nation building. Is it that we want to transform the mindset positively or transform the mindset negatively? Are we interested in building Ghana or destroying Ghana? And in this thing that people are gradually pushing into the system, let me just read a section for you. For us to all understand that if we don't wake up and confront this monster headlong, we are in for trouble. Because there's a subtle attempt, now more overt, to introduce this thing at the level and make it seem as if it's normal. And so, in this training manual, week 1, the very first week, the focal area, explanation of social and reproductive health, sexual and reproductive health. Now, I read. So they talk about common terms. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's just go to 4, which talks about gender identity. Listen carefully. This is what they are teaching or putting into the minds of our children via official curriculum approved by NACA. Approved by NACA. And they are saying gender identity. It refers to a person's deeply felt internal experience of gender, which may or may not correspond with the sex assigned at birth. Which may or may not correspond with the sex assigned at birth. It can include being male, female, or a blend of both. La. This is what it is in this manual. It can include being male, female, or a blend of both. That is why in part of this LGBT thing, this LGBT discussion that is being bandied about, they even want to ban, what do you call it, male, female, urinary in schools. Yes, that's it. So you can wake up in the morning and feel like you are a boy. In the afternoon, you can feel like you are a girl. So we shouldn't have male, female urinary in schools any longer. We should just have urinary. Is that not total madness? Are we not suffering enough already in this country with all the issues of the economy? And this is what we want to add and tell our children that, apart from male and female, you can have other sexual identities. Let me read further. This concept goes beyond, listen, the binary notion of gender, which is male and female, and recognizes the diversity of gender experiences and expressions. People of Ghana, This is it. I'm reading from a document. A Ministry of Education document approved by NACA. And it's supposed to be a teacher's manual. And we say, God bless our homeland Ghana. Make our nation great and strong. Bold to defend forever the cause of freedom and of right. Fill our hearts with true humility. Make us cherish fearless honesty. I choose to cherish fearless honesty. Help us to resist oppressors' rule. So I choose to resist this type of oppression. Because the oppressors of the colonial past don't have to be here present. But through their surrogates, they can run a more dangerous form of oppression, which Kwame Nkrumah referred to as neo-colonialism. And this is it. We are experiencing a more wicked, vile, and evil form of neo-colonialism. And this is it. This is what they want you and I, our children, to imbibe. That go beyond male, female, beyond the binary expression, beyond what gives you your gender at birth. Oh, the other things. Which other things? This nonsense, this dangerous nonsense must stop now. And it will stop. Let me go to 5. Gender expression. This refers to the external display of one's gender through a combination of dress, demeanor, social behavior, and other features, generally measured on scales of masculinity and femininity. Is this not complete madness? And so we are beginning to see it manifest. And you even have products and commercial entities that are beginning to use certain people to be their brand. What do you call it? Is it brand whatever? Executives or whatever you call them. But that's even on a personal level. But this is where I am speaking about a dangerous mindset that is being officialized and being used to poison the minds of our children at a very young age. So they don't have to grow up and, as it were, walk into a social vice. They are being consciously taught that it's okay to practice this. I have said that I am not a passive nation builder. I am an active nation builder because by grace of God, I've seen it all before and I have been high up there, working for the Republic and serving President John Evans Samuels. So if he had a certain mindset that was able to value morality, value what we stand for as a people and as a nation, value the mandate that he had been given, and could speak stoically to such an issue and say no, and the matter never reared its ugly head again. What is stopping others from doing same? What is stopping others from doing same? We are not going to allow it. And this is part 1 of this discussion. In part 2, which is more scary, where a group of people can come into the country and openly exhibit gross nudity on the streets of Accra and be protected by the police in blatant and flagrant violation of the 1992 Constitution. People of Ghana, is this the Ghana we want to build? Is this the Ghana we all want? I don't think so. And so, as nation builders, focused on the God presence in nation building, we are speaking to issues, to facts, and from experience, not from a point of naivety, but from a point of calculated experience. And so in part 2, like I said, we will discuss the issue of the nudity that was displayed on the streets of Accra towards the end of April by people who are advocating and pushing this Sodom and Gomorrah agenda on the people of Ghana. Thank you for joining us for episode 11. We appreciate your presence. Keep the conversation flowing, especially your comments. And let's meet in episode 12. We appreciate your company and we'll be back. But Ghana must not be allowed to die. And Ghana should not be allowed to die. Ghana must live for the glory of God to express itself in this nation. Thank you.